Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Ebony and I'm currently living in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So I have got my trusty laptop here again with me because today we're going to be doing all about the cost of living here in Saudi. So I've actually lived in Dubai for 16 years, so I actually have a good understanding of sort of the prices here in the region. Saudi is a little bit more expensive than Dubai in my personal opinion, but we'll go through all the different prices of things, and maybe if you're watching from the UK or America or somewhere else and you're moving over soon, this gives you a good indication of how much you need to budget per month to live here in Saudi. So I've got my trusty laptop with me so I can refer back to all the research I've done and not get anything wrong. Again, prices might vary for different people, and obviously as the months and years go on, things do fluctuate. So these costs are what I found on my research and what I currently pay. Obviously this could vary, so please keep that in mind and be kind in the comments. So starting off with the big one is definitely housing costs. A lot of people rent here. I'm not sure about the option of buying as an expat. That's something you can look into. I did do a full breakdown of compounds and apartments. You can watch my video there if you'd like to. I'll give you the difference between a standalone property, which is just an apartment in an apartment block, and then the option of somewhere within a compound. So for a one bedroom, you're looking at about 80,000 for standalone and up to around 150 for a one bedroom apartment in a compound. And then for a villa, you'd be looking at around 150,000 for a standalone, 350,000 plus for a villa in a compound. This is for like a 4 to 5 bed villa. Please do watch my video. That gives you an in-depth overview of all the compounds and apartments that I found on my research and a good idea of price. Just to give you a heads up, most places do take a deposit. We actually paid 24,000 riyals deposit for the apartment we're currently in, which is very high. I think just in comparison of Dubai, you pay about 5% of your yearly rent. And rents here are done yearly, and you normally pay 2 checks, shall I say. So one transfer for the first 6 months and one transfer for the last 6 months. And then obviously you can keep extending your contract. So just keep that in mind. There is a big down payment that you need to pay for that deposit, and also for that first 6 months of rent. You might find an apartment or a property or somewhere in a compound takes monthly rents. We didn't actually find any on our research, but maybe you will. So don't take my word for that. Moving on from housing costs, we'll look at house bills. We actually have realised that a lot of rental prices, considering some of them are quite high, do actually include all the bills, obviously except from Wi-Fi, but like your AC, for example, your sort of electric, your water, gas, if you do have a gas cooker, for example, a lot of the bills are actually included. So just double check that because it definitely depends where you live, but for us, yeah, everything's there included for us. Then moving on to transport, I personally have lived in Dubai, like I said, so I actually bring my car over as a tourist for a year while I figure out transport and what I'm going to do in terms of a car here. Bradley, my partner, is actually going to end up importing his car. When we go through that process, you can definitely check out his video because I'm sure he'll do an in-depth review and process for that. So in terms of transport, I actually had a car in Dubai that I just brought over from Dubai, and I can keep it here for a year as a tourist import, and then I actually have to take it back to Dubai to re-register, everything like that. I did do a full video on the idea of cost for that. I think all in all it cost me about 5,000 to 6,000 riyals. You can check the video and the process out here if you're looking into doing that, or you can look into car rental options. When I looked before actually deciding to bring my car over, it was around 3,000 riyals a month to rent a car, and that was for the smallest sort of Picanto or Toyota Yaris size car. I have been told that you can actually only get a rental car for up to 3 months here. I'm not sure if that's true. That's something you might need to do research on, but just keep that in mind when you're coming over. And then as well as car rental, you can also take taxis. They're very easily available around the city. We actually live a little bit on the outskirts of the city, so a little bit further out than where a lot of people live. And it literally only takes us a maximum of 10 minutes to get a taxi. Obviously in rush hour is a little bit different. So when we first moved here, before I brought my car over, we were using taxis all the time. There's a lot of options like Uber, Careem, Bolt, and then they do have local taxis as well. The local taxis, some do have card option to pay with your card, but some do only take cash, so just keep that in mind if you're jumping in one of the green local taxis. Someone actually told me they're more expensive than Uber, so just keep that in mind. I would say for a 30-minute journey, it will cost you anywhere from 50 to 80 riyals, obviously depending on peak hours, when they sort of put the prices up, and yeah, when it's not busy. And then let's move on to phone bill. I make a lot of content, so I'm constantly on my phone and want a lot of data. I use Virgin back in the UAE, so decided to use Virgin Mobile here in Saudi just so it's a bit easier and I'm on the same sort of network. And I don't know if this is really cheap, but it's definitely, this is one thing that's actually cheaper than Dubai. It only cost me 100 riyals per month plus VAT, so about 115. And this gives me 35 gigabytes of data. unlimited social data, which is like Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube actually. And then I get 750 minutes of calls and 1,500 minutes of SMS, so text, which I don't actually use, but I think that's quite a good package, and that's one of the basic packages, so you can get more and more and more and more. I definitely recommend going with Virgin. It's very easy to manage your data on the app. You can add, you can remove, you can change your plan. It's very easy, and you can actually do this if you're here on a tourist visa. So if you've moved over and your account is not quite set up yet, then this is definitely an option for you. There is other companies like Zain Mobile and STC. STC is actually what we use for our Wi-Fi, so I'll move on to the cost for that. We have a little router. The router cost us 1,200 reals. I think you can just actually buy these off Virgin, but I was here on my own and I just bought it straight from the shop when I went into SDC. So yeah, if you know about Wi-Fi and stuff, I think you can just buy the router off Amazon for a lot cheaper than 1,200. And then monthly, I just pay 350 reals, which gives me unlimited Wi-Fi. And the speed is pretty decent. I don't really know about the speed of Wi-Fi and stuff like that. That's definitely a Bradley question. But yeah, it's pretty decent. We can watch Netflix on it. We do all of our work at home because we work from home like a few times a week. Obviously, we make a lot of content for YouTube and stuff like this. The upload speed is great, like it's very quick. So yeah, I would recommend to check out STC for your Wi-Fi. And then moving on to groceries, there's a whole load of different grocery stores here. There's Alafame, there's Tamimi Markets, there's Danube, there's Lulu, there's Carrefour, there's a whole load of different ones. One of our favorite places to go is Spinneys, which is actually a brand from Dubai. You can watch my video here because it is very expensive. There's a lot of imported goods that they have that are actually like Waitrose branded. They've come over from the UK. So if you want any treats, this is somewhere I recommend to go. But if you're shopping at a local supermarket, you're probably looking around 500 to 600 reals for a couple for a week. So overall about 2,000 reals per month. Obviously this really depends what you eat, how much you shop, how much you order out. So obviously costs will vary person to person, but this is just our personal experience. We do a bit of food shop in the week and make sure we have breakfast, lunch and dinners at home, and then a couple of treats on the weekend. If you are looking to order out, then one of the main delivery apps here is called Hunger Station. There is another one called Jahez, which I haven't really used, and there's also Kareem and Uber food, like Uber Eats. Again, there's not many options on them too, so Hunger Station is sort of your go-to place. I would definitely recommend looking at getting the subscription with Hunger Station because the delivery fees are quite crazy here. They can go up to 35 reals just for delivery fee. And obviously there is the option to pick the restaurants that have no delivery fee at the time, or if you get Hunger Station Plus, it removes that for just some select handful of restaurants. There's a whole load of different takeaway places, high-end places like Earth Cafe. So obviously that order would cost you between 200 to 300 for two people if you're just looking at like maybe breakfast. But then there is also stuff like McDonald's, which is like 50 reals for two people. So there's all different types of things that you can order on Hunger Station. You can actually also get groceries on there. You can get stuff like flowers, all of that kind of stuff. It's sort of like Deliveroo, but yeah, the Saudi version. Then moving on to activities, it's currently Riyadh season at the minute, which means there's a whole load of events going on all over the city. It's very quiet in the summer period just because it's so hot, and then winter sort of the city comes alive and there is just so much going on you don't even know what to do with your weekend. So for example, one of them activities is Boulevard World. I did a little TikTok on it if you want to go and view that, and that's only 30 reals to enter the park. Then you can pay for rides, arcade games, obviously the food and beverage outlets, stuff like that. But to actually go in there and explore, only 30 reals. If you want to go to the cinema, Fox here, we have AMC, which I think is from America. There's a few different brands, and it could cost you anywhere from 40 reals up to like 300 reals. So 40 is sort of your basic standard price, and then 300 is maybe for like the gold suites, which I highly recommend. It's one of our favorite things to do as a treat. And a top tip is that AMC actually do Monday Madness. So tickets are only 29 reals per person for any class. So you can go for like the most platinum suites or whatever, like the best seats in the cinema. It's only 29 reals, whatever you pick. So it's very busy on a Monday, but I'd recommend it. There is also high-end options if you're looking for something a little bit more bougie. There's like Via Riyadh, which has loads of fancy restaurants. Obviously, if you're going in here, there's a lot of known brand names. One of our favorite places that's just opened is Sushi Samba in Kaft. You'd be looking at like maybe 400 to 500 reals for a sort of set lunch menu there. So it just goes to show there is a whole load of options for you to choose depending on your budget, if you want to treat yourself or what you're sort of interested in. I think that pretty much covers everything. If you have any questions or want to know prices for anything else, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or comment below, and I'd be happy to try and help you if I can. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Maybe if you're moving over and you just want a bit of direction, this will give you some tips, hopefully. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.